Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 129 Romeo Bravo, ready to taxi to runway 34 left. November 523 Alpha Whiskey, request permission to cross runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Hi-Hat 311, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Jetstar 27 Heavy, ready for pushback. Royal Air Maroc 266, request permission to cross runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, North Shuttle 450, ready for pushback.
My friend is on phone right now.
November 523 Alpha Whiskey, request permission to cross runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160, ready for pushback. Royal Air Maroc 266, request permission to cross runway 07. Qantas 283 Heavy, taxi to parking. Taxiing to parking, Qantas 283 Heavy. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, pushback approved. Qantas 283 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 07. North Shuttle 450, pushback approved. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Qantas 787 Super, request taxi to parking. Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160, pushback approved. Pushback approved. Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160. Qantas 283 Heavy, hold position. Holding position, Qantas 283 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 29 Uniform X-Ray, ready for pushback. Jetstar 27 Heavy, pushback approved. Pushback approved. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. Pushback approved. Jetstar 27 Heavy. Attention all aircraft, airport is busy, expect delays. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Air Berlin 726 Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, all Nippon 858 Heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, all Nippon 858 Heavy, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 29 Uniform X-Ray, ready for pushback. Royal Air Maroc 266, hold position. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Qantas 787 Super, request taxi to parking. Qantas 787 Super, taxi to parking. Taxiing to parking, Qantas 787 Super. All Nippon 858 Heavy, pushback approved. Pushback approved. All Nippon 858 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Hi-Hat 311, ready for pushback. November 523 Alpha Whiskey, you're on an active airport. Please contact Sydney Kingsford Ground on 121.7. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Air Berlin 726 Super, ready for pushback. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Jetstar 27 Heavy, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 999 Zulu, request taxi to parking. Sydney Kingsford Ground, North Shuttle 450, ready to taxi to runway 07. November 523 Alpha Whiskey, request permission to cross runway 16 right. November 735 Alpha Kilo, request permission to cross runway 16 right. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 29 Uniform X-Ray, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, all Nippon 858 Heavy, ready to taxi to runway 07. November 735 Alpha Kilo, request permission to cross runway 16 right. Etihad 311, pushback approved. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Pakistan Airways 753, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Air Berlin 726.
What a
super,
busy
ready for
day.
pushback. Pushback
Again.
approved. Etihad 311. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Royal Air Maroc 266, request taxi to parking. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Seabird 793, ready for pushback. Air Berlin 726 Super, hold position. November 70 Mike Quebec, taxi to parking. Holding position, Air Berlin 726 Super. Taxiing to parking, November 70 Mike Quebec. Taxiing to runway 07, Jetstar 27 Heavy. November 999 Zulu Zulu, taxi to parking. North Shuttle 450, taxi to parking. North Shuttle 450, correction, standby. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 999 Zulu Zulu, ready to taxi to runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Ground, November 29 Uniform X-ray, ready to taxi. Taxiing to runway 07, Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160. Pushback approved, Pakistan Airways 753. Pushback approved, Seabird 793. November 735 Alpha Kilo, hold position. Holding position, November 735 Alpha Kilo. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, cross runway 07. Royal Air Maroc 266, taxi to parking. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Etihad 311, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Emirates 215, ready for pushback. November 999 Zulu Zulu, taxi to runway 07, contact tower when ready. Qantas 787 Super, cross runway 07. November 29 Uniform X-ray, pushback approved. November 29 Uniform X-ray, taxi to runway 34 left, contact tower when ready. Qantas 283 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 07. Taxiing to runway 07, Etihad 311. Emirates 215, pushback approved. Qantas 787 Super, request permission to cross runway 34 left. Pushback approved, Emirates 215. Crossing runway 07, Qantas 283 Heavy. November 999 Zulu Zulu, cross runway 07. Crossing runway 07, November 999 Zulu Zulu. Qantas 787 Super, hold position. Air Berlin 726 Super, taxi to runway 07, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 07, Air Berlin 726 Super. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Pakistan Airways 753, ready to taxi to runway 34 left. Thank you, good day, Royal Air Maroc 266. Sydney Kingsford Ground, FedEx 625, request taxi to parking. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Pakistan Airways 753, ready to taxi to runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Emirates 215, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Papa Alpha 4 Mike Yankee, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Red Path 67, request taxi to parking. Qantas 787 Super, request permission to cross runway 34 right. Qantas 787 Super, request permission to cross runway 34 left. Qantas 283 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 16 right. I'm sorry, Qantas 787 Super. FedEx 625, request permission to cross runway 25. Qantas 787 Super, request permission to cross runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Ground, X-ray Charlie Mike Echo, X-ray Super, ready for pushback. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Seabird 793, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Emirates 215, ready to taxi. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Air France 515 is 17 nautical miles to the southwest at 7,600 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Qantas 05, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 right. Attention all aircraft, please stand by, controller change is in progress. November 14 Juliet Romeo, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Unicom, Emirates 215, taxiing to runway 07. Sydney Kingsford Unicom, November 70 Mike, Quebec is clear of all runways. Sydney Kingsford Unicom, Qantas 787 Super, crossing runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Unicom, Qantas 787 Super, crossing runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Unicom, Qantas 283 Heavy, crossing runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Unicom, Qantas 787 Super, crossing runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, all Nippon 858 Heavy, ready for takeoff, at runway 07, departing straight out. November 6 3 Oscar Charlie, runway 07, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 07, November 6 3 Oscar Charlie. All Nippon 858 Heavy, hold short of runway 07. Holding short, runway 07, all Nippon 858 Heavy. Qantas 05, number 1, runway 34 right, cleared to land. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Charlie Romeo is 13 nautical miles, to the south at 4,300 feet, inbound for landing. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 right, Qantas 05. Sydney Kingsford Tower, American 83, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 left. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 120.5, SIHOUD 611. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 07, departing south. Sydney Kingsford Tower, United 13 Heavy, ready for takeoff at runway 07, departing straight out. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Air France 515 is 13 nautical miles, to the south at 5,100 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, American 1977 is 11 nautical miles to the south at 3,200 feet, inbound for landing. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Romeo 69 is 18 nautical miles to the south at 8,000 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 34 left. Air France 515, enter straight in runway 34 left. Enter straight in runway 34 left, Air France 515. American 1977 make a left 360 for spacing. At IHOUD 611, enter left base runway 34 left. Enter left base runway 34 left, at IHOUD 611. Charlie Romeo, number 1, runway 34 right, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 right, Charlie Romeo. American 83, enter straight in runway 34 right, number 2, traffic to follow is on final. Enter straight in, runway 34 right, behind the traffic on final, American 83. Romeo 69, enter straight in runway 34 left, number 2, traffic to follow is on final. Enter straight in, runway 34 left, behind the traffic on final, Romeo 69. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, runway 07, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 07, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. Air France 515, number 1, runway 34 left, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 34 left, Air France 515. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 999 Zulu, ready for takeoff, at runway 07, departing north. November 999 Zulu, runway 07, cleared for immediate takeoff. cleared for takeoff. Runway 07, November 999 Zulu Zulu. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Tango Zulu 002, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, November 52 Mike X-ray, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 right. Sydney Kingsford Tower, X-ray Charlie Mike Echo X-ray Super, ready for takeoff at runway 34 left, departing straight out. Tango Zulu 002, enter left base runway 34 right. Enter left base runway 34 right, Tango Zulu 002. November 52 Mike X-ray, enter left base runway 34 left. Enter left base runway 34 left, November 52 Mike X-ray. X-ray Charlie Mike Echo X-ray Super, hold short of runway 34 left. Holding short, runway 34 left, X-ray Charlie Mike Echo X-ray Super. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Yankee Lima 5, inbound on the ILS, runway 34 right. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, frequency change approved, good day. Frequency change approved Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, good day. All Nippon 858 Heavy, line up and wait runway 07. Letter Unicom, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy is inbound, request traffic advisory. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, request frequency change. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, frequency change approved. Good day. Frequency change approved. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, good day. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, please follow instructions. You're welcome, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. I'm sorry, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. Bankstown Unit 1, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy is inbound. Request traffic advisory.
somehow I keep playing around with this plane, like I'm not taking the job serious. It's because I just woke up and I'm really busy. You could keep the strobe lights on because it's foggy. Hey! Right now, this is the third video I've done after the update. Today, I'm really excited to announce that I will be getting the 787. So guys, you're gonna see a really special video that I'm gonna make for the 787, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you like and subscribe, and it's just gonna be a blast. Watch this, guys, watch.
Charlie 001 Heavy, request frequency change. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, frequency change approved, good day. Frequency change approved. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, good day. Nara Military Tower, November 5519, ready for takeoff at runway 03, departing straight out. Wollongong Unicom, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy is inbound. Request traffic advisory. Heavy is 24 nautical miles to the southeast at 10,100 feet, inbound for landing. Wilco, November 14 Juliet Romeo. Virgin 857 Heavy, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Virgin 857 Heavy. Canberra Tower, Jetstar 320, ready for takeoff, at runway 35, remaining in the pattern. Jetstar 320, line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35, Jetstar 320. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy is on right downwind runway 35. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, continue inbound. Continuing inbound, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. Canberra Tower, Cantasling 005, ready for takeoff, at runway 30, departing north. Jetstar 320, runway 35, cleared for immediate takeoff, enable pattern work. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Jetstar 320. Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike, line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35, Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike. Cantasling 005, runway 30, cleared for immediate takeoff. Canberra Tower, Boeing 538, ready for takeoff, at runway 35, departing north. Cleared for takeoff, runway 30, Cantasling 005. Thank you, good day, Jetstar 320. Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy, go around, make right traffic runway 35. Going around, Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy. Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy, thank you. Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike. Boeing 538, runway 35, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Boeing 538. Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy, enter right downwind runway 35. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, number 1, runway 35, cleared to land. Enter right downwind runway 35, Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy, number 1, cleared to land, runway 35, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. Qantas 1834, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Kansas 1834. Jet 454, line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35. Jet 454. Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike. Request frequency change. Jet 454, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35, Jet 454. Boeing 538, frequency change approved. Good day. Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike. Frequency change approved. Good day. Frequency change approved. Boeing 538. Good day. Canberra Tower, Saudia 135. Ready for takeoff at runway 35. Departing east. Thank you. Good day. Victor India Echo Tango November Alpha Mike. Handling 005. Frequency change approved. Good day. Frequency change approved. Handling 005. Good day. Saudia 135, hold short of runway 35. Holding short, runway 35, Saudia 135. Saudia 135, line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35, Saudia 135. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy is on final runway 35. Kansas 1834, request frequency change. Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, you're already cleared to land. Avoid unnecessary report. Canberra Tower, Air France 456, ready for takeoff at runway 35, departing east. Kansas 1834, frequency change approved. Good day. I'm sorry, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy. Saudia 135, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Frequency change approved. Kansas 1834. Good day. Air France 456. Hold short of runway 35. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 35. Saudia 135. Holding short. Runway 35. Air France 456. Air France 456. Line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35. Air France 456.
Is he really taking off right when I'm about to land?
Canberra Tower, November 70 Mike, Quebec, ready for takeoff at runway 35, departing east. Jet 454, request frequency change. Air France 456, runway 35, cleared for takeoff. November 70 Mike, Quebec, hold short at runway 35, cleared for takeoff. Runway 35, Air France 456. Short, runway 35, November 70 Mike, Quebec. Canberra Tower, Lima Alpha Tango, Alpha Mike 160 is 23 nautical miles to the southeast at 6,200 feet, inbound for landing, requesting runway 35, Jet 454, frequency change approved. Good day. Canberra Tower, Hotel Echo Alpha Victor Yankee 234, ready for takeoff at runway 35, departing straight out. Frequency change approved. Jet 454. Good day. Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160. Continue inbound. Continuing inbound. Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160. Stand by. Hotel Echo Alpha Victor Yankee 234. Hotel Echo Alpha Victor Yankee 234. No intersection departures allowed. November 70 Mike, Quebec, line up and wait runway 35. Line up and wait runway 35. November 70 Mike, Quebec. Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy, number 1, runway 35, cleared to land. Cleared to land, runway 35, Victor Papa Bravo Bravo Romeo Heavy. Lima Alpha Tango Alpha Mike 160, enter right base runway 35, number 2, traffic to follow is on right base. Roger, all Nippon 858 Heavy. Mike Quebec, runway 35, cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, November 70 Mike Quebec, Air India 2384 Heavy, line up and wait runway 35, Saudia 333, taxi to runway 35, contact tower when ready, Canberra ground, Reunion 257, ready to taxi, Canberra ground, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, request taxi to parking. Taxiing to runway 35, Saudia 333, Reunion 257, taxi to runway 35, contact tower when ready, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, taxi to parking. Taxiing to runway 35, Reunion 257, taxiing to parking, Alpha Charlie 001 Heavy, Canberra ground, SI have 181 Heavy, ready to taxi. SI have 181 Heavy, taxi to runway 35, contact tower when
Alright,
ready.
thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the 787.
Canberra ground, Jetstar 6773.